Hello, Nori here. Welcome to another episode of me expressing myself as honestly as possible. So this video is about me talking to you very honestly about what happened yesterday. I want to talk to you guys about the video I posted and everything that happened subsequently after, because I feel like it's my responsibility. I should take responsibility for everything since I am the face here of this channel and also the creator. So I'd start out with something prior to making the video, and it was the pressure I was feeling and how I was feeling emotionally charged. So I was feeling emotionally charged after looking at the various suffering of various women in my circle, out of my circle, in different places, really. So I felt moved with the pressure of and the emotions of wanting to document, or not just document my observations of that suffering of women through the ages and even now, with how women are oppressed through centuries, from the past to the present and everything else in between. And because I was already so emotionally charged about it, because if I didn't make the video, I would feel restless. So I was moved by my own feelings. These feelings were so strong that I had to make the video, right? So I was so emotionally charged already about wanting to make the video that my identity got tied into the video itself. It was like I was representing my own heart into that video. Generally, I'm able to compartmentalize. Generally, I'm able to kind of put myself before a barrier, erect a barrier between me and what I'm putting out there. So even when people intellectualize those things, it doesn't affect me directly, or it doesn't affect me to that extent. But because my identity was already tied into this video so deeply, or the women's video so deeply, that any kind of cold intellectualization made it feel like my own opinion was getting dismantled, like my own video, or like where I was coming from was getting dismantled. Like what I had to say was not important, even if it was not the aim of the people to do that. It felt, because I was so tied to, like my identity was so deeply tied to it, that any kind of cold intellectualization automatically made it seem like, oh, your opinion is so uneducated and so invalid. See, this is what it is actually. And it's hard to kind of comprehend that when you're going through so many emotions, when it's already like really high pressure that I put on myself because I wanted to be fair. That is another part of this situation where I put myself under so much of pressure because I wanted to be fair. I wanted to be justice oriented. I wanted to be I wanted to try to be well-rounded in such a way that people can't say that I did something unfair, because it means so much to me to want to be as fair as possible. So I think when I told this to one of my friends in real life, she criticized me immediately, like, why did you use these words? These words were very like this, it was like that. And that added even more to what I was already feeling. I was very anxious, by the way, when I put the video, because it's essentially taking a risk on your own face with your own identity tied to the video. So when she criticized me about, oh, I don't like the words you used and so on and so forth, it felt invalidating as well, because I tried so hard to to say that this was from my observation. This was as fair as I could be as possible. And I was still told that, well, the usage of your words were not right or something like that. It felt like exhausting, like what more can I do, sort of. Then I tried to take care of as many details as possible, try to make it as well-rounded as possible. So what more could I have done? How else could I have been more accommodating? And it seemed almost as if I shouldn't at all be speaking about women. That was how I felt was coming across to me from different places. Even though there were hardly any comments, I acknowledge that there were hardly any comments, but when even the littlest things sometimes end up like causing like a big chain reaction and causing you to spiral because of the pressure that you feel inside, and then how that kind of ends up translating outside, and everything ends up overlapping with each other. So it becomes difficult to put yourself away from these things, or like disconnect yourself from whatever's happening externally and whatever's happening internally, and just stay neutral or in a neutral space. And so it felt like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that feeling ended up causing me to spiral into a panic attack, and end up like crying a lot. So I ended up crying a lot because I just couldn't make sense of what was going on. I couldn't make sense of what was going on internally. I couldn't make sense of what was going on externally, whether I was right, whether they were right, whether I was wrong. Did I do things properly? Was I not fair? Was I fair? So I collapsed under the pressure of all these things, like so many different variables, that I ended up being whatever I ended up being, like the community post, and having to private my video was to protect myself, because if I kept seeing the video, I would have been reminded of, oh, I failed, oh, this is such an embarrassment, oh, now what do I do, sort of, oh, people didn't like what I had to say. There's so many things that overlaps, and it overwhelms you that you can't make sense of anything. And so privating the video was the only way I could find some kind of a way to detach myself from the situation, because it got too overwhelming after a certain point. And then I was confused as to what should I do now? Like, how should I take this? So, yeah, I feel very strongly about women's issues, and it's always a risk to be able to speak about them, to be able to speak about women, or just whatever is going on in related in the world or just related, because essentially this is an extremely risky topic to talk about. Most people don't like to, especially in gaming, I think we don't like to generally talk about such risky and deep topics, and we try to stick to gameplay. But I've already placed myself in such a position that, and also I think it comes naturally with someone like me, where I cannot help but talk about these things because they are close to my heart and they tie in a bigger picture, that we are part of this world and we are part of whatever's going on, and so intricately linked, even if it's through YouTube, even if it's through a screen. And me still being kind of new on YouTube, kind of still trying to put myself out there, is the reason why I'm still struggling to kind of detach from the identity of who I am and what I'm putting out there and people's comments in return. So that's all I have to say. It's me struggling as a YouTuber to find my own identity, to find my reality, and what people are saying, to be able to connect to people again. There's so many different things that are overlapping, that it is a struggle for me to be able to compartmentalize everything and put myself in a way that not only am I able to connect with people, but not tie my identity completely in a way that is jeopardizing to my own mental health or state. So that's all I have to say. I offer my apologies for if I've made anyone uncomfortable with whatever I've said, or I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll just let the video stay here. Until then, see you guys in the next video.